The Pacific War was not merciful to American soldiers. In places like Guadalcanal, Japanese snipers pursued our men like ghosts. Trained since childhood to hunt, these soldiers turned their skill into a weapon of terror. But when the army faced the impossible, an enemy that could not be seen, one man changed everything. His story began with a catalog, $45, and a belief that hunting was not just a sport, but a science that could be applied anywhere, even in war. A transport ship cut through the dark waters of the Pacific Ocean. On deck, American servicemen crowded together, their faces reflecting fear of the approaching fire. The horizon glowed red from artillery flashes. Private Jack Croft, 20 years old, tanned and tired, sat among dozens of other soldiers. He held a rifle, not standard military issue, but a worn civilian hunting rifle. The soldiers around him were laughing quietly. "Is that thing even real?" asked Corporal Rivera. "Catalog rifle. This guy ordered it by mail, like he was buying a watch," answered Private Henderson. They snickered, but Croft ignored them, running his thumb along the stock. His eyes were clear and focused. "Mail order or not, it shoots," Croft said quietly. Sergeant Murphy, 35 years old, was walking past and stopped. He studied Croft's rifle with new interest. Sitting beside him, Murphy asked where it came from. "Ordered it from a catalog back home. Cost me $45. I knew I'd need a good rifle, something I understood," Croft explained. "Most men take what the army gives them." "You came prepared," Murphy noted with respect. "My father taught me to shoot before I could read. He said a man is only worth as much as his eye and his patience. This rifle feels like home," Croft answered. A week later, the ship reached the island. Chaos. Dense, dark jungle. Gunfire echoed from everywhere. American soldiers crouched behind logs and rocks. Bodies lay in the mud. Fire was coming from above, from Japanese positions hidden in the canopy. They called this place Hell's Gate. For 3 days straight, Americans had died to Japanese snipers they could not see. Morale was collapsing. Soldiers were dying one after another. The command tent was a place of despair. Colonel James Walker, 50 years old, paced back and forth before a map. His jaw was tight. Officers stood around him, looking defeated. "We've lost 17 men in 72 hours. All to sniper fire. We need to do something," Walker said. Major Stephen Cole shook his head. "We don't have trained snipers. We have riflemen. This is different." Junior Officer Lieutenant Davis entered and saluted. "Colonel, I might be able to help. There's a private in 2nd Platoon. He came with his own rifle. Grew up hunting." Walker looked up from the map. "Croft?" "Yes, sir. The men call him the catalog hunter. But sir, he can shoot. I've seen his scores. Perfect marks." Cole waved his hand dismissively. "A civilian hunter isn't a trained sniper. This isn't deer hunting, Lieutenant. We have nothing to lose." "Bring him in," Walker ordered. When Croft entered the tent, Walker asked a question. "I hear you took out a sniper." "Yes, sir. Japanese marksman, approximately 200 yards in that direction. Our men say you didn't hesitate for a second. Didn't search the jungle. You just knew where he was." "I grew up hunting, sir. Every animal, every man, has a pattern. A rhythm. You learn to read it." The sniper revealed himself with his shot. "Once I understood his position, distance, and angle, I calculated where he would relocate for his next shot." Cole leaned forward. "You calculated?" "Yes, sir. Wind, bullet drop, target movement. It's mathematics wrapped in field tactics." Walker and Cole exchanged a glance. Cole's skepticism shifted slightly. "How many snipers do you think you could eliminate?" Walker asked. "Depends on their positioning, sir. But if they stay in the jungle, I can hunt them. It's what I was born to do, Croft answered. Walker made a decision. You're now officially working as a sniper. Your mission is clear: eliminate the Japanese riflemen in this sector. Take whoever you need. No restrictions. I'll work alone, sir. A sniper is most effective alone, Croft said. I'll be your spotter and liaison. No arguments, Private, Davis interjected. Croft nodded slightly. The hunt had begun. Croft and Lieutenant Davis moved through the undergrowth with practiced stealth. Davis carried binoculars and a standard rifle. Croft moved like a ghost, his catalog rifle ready. They stopped at the edge of a clearing, surrounded by massive trees. Croft studied the landscape, his eyes slowly moving over every detail. There's another one here. Somewhere in the southern sector, Croft said, barely above a whisper. How can you be sure? Davis asked. The birds. See how they're silent in that direction? Animals know when a predator is near. That position commands the approach to our eastern line, Croft answered. They moved deeper into the jungle. Hours passed. Sweat dripped. Insects buzzed around them. Croft suddenly froze, his hand raised. Davis stopped instantly. A branch cracked. 50 yards away. Hidden by dense vegetation. Croft slowly raised his rifle. Davis held his breath. The rifle fired. The crack echoed through the jungle. A Japanese sniper, positioned in a tree, tumbled forward and crashed through the branches. Croft was already reloading, watching. He might have friends nearby. Davis whispered urgently. He did. But they're gone. I counted 5 Japanese positions from here. I think we just eliminated the second, Croft answered. That night, above the jungle, Colonel Walker received reports. There was new energy in the tent. On the map, Japanese sniper positions were marked with X's. We've had no sniper casualties in 12 hours, Colonel, reported an officer. Where's Croft? Walker asked. Still in the field, sir. He's found another position, Davis answered. This man is worth his weight in gold. If he can clear this sector, we can move forward, Walker said. In an abandoned Japanese position, Croft and Davis examined the body of a Japanese sniper. The soldier was young, probably no more than 20 years old. On a nearby cloth lay a carefully maintained rifle and ammunition. These men are well trained. Disciplined, Davis noted. They are. But discipline without adaptability is a weakness. They follow patterns. I break them, Croft answered. On a ridge overlooking American positions, Croft lay prone, his rifle ready. Davis stood 50 yards behind him with binoculars, watching for any movement. The jungle stretched below them like a green sea. Davis spotted movement. 2 o'clock. Near a large rock formation. Croft adjusted his rifle slightly. His breathing was deep and even. One eye closed, one eye pressed to the scope. I see him. Japanese spotter. Dressed as a soldier but moving like an officer. Probably coordinating fire from multiple positions, Croft said. Range? Davis asked. 420 yards. Wind from the northwest. I'll compensate, Croft answered. He made microscopic adjustments. Seconds stretched like hours. A bead of sweat ran down his temple. He fired. The spotter fell immediately. No death convulsion, no cry of pain. Simply down. Confirmed hit. That's number 4, Davis said. There are more. I can feel them, Croft answered, reloading. They remained in position. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher. Noon became afternoon. Then a shot cracked out from the jungle. It passed by Croft's head by only inches, snapping the air beside him. He didn't move. His breathing didn't change. He's trying to pin you down, Davis cried. No. He's testing my position. He wants me to expose myself, Croft answered. Another shot. Closer this time. It hit a rock near Croft, sending fragments into the air. Croft still didn't move. Then a third shot, from a different angle. From behind and to the left. A coordinated attack. 2 snipers. Croft, we need to move, Davis urged. No. Stay down, Croft said. A long moment. The jungle held its breath. Then Croft fired. Not at the shooter nearest to him, but at the one he anticipated would move. Across the jungle, a Japanese sniper stood up from his position, caught off guard. He tried to relocate. Croft's second shot caught him in the chest. The first sniper, the one nearest, tried to reposition. Croft turned his rifle slightly and fired. The man went down. Silence. Complete silence. How many is that? Davis asked. 6. Maybe 7. They move fast when they're scared, Croft answered. In the command tent, Walker studied the updated map. Red markers now covered most of the sector that had previously been dominated by Japanese snipers. Davis made his report to Walker and Cole. Private Croft has confirmed 8 kills over the past 4 days. There may be 2 or 3 more, but he believes the Japanese are pulling their snipers back, Davis reported. Walker studied the map with satisfaction. Cole looked at him with amazement. This is extraordinary. An untrained civilian outperforming our military doctrine, Cole noted. He's trained differently. Exactly what we needed, Walker answered. Cole asked permission to document Croft's methods so they could train others. Walker agreed. Croft was 1 in 1,000, but his methods were worth studying. In the supply tent, Croft sat on a crate, cleaning his catalog rifle. The weapon was still performing flawlessly. He disassembled it with practiced efficiency, running a cloth through the barrel. A young private, 19 years old, watched him from nearby, fascinated. How did you learn to shoot like that, sir? The young private asked. My father. And 10,000 hours of practice. Mostly patience, though. Patience is the skill they don't teach you in the army, Croft answered, not looking up. Did you ever think you'd use it like this? Croft paused, looking at the barrel, seeing something the young private could not. No. When I ordered this rifle, I dreamed of shooting deer in the autumn. Providing food for my family. Never thought I'd use it to take human lives. You saved a lot of men's lives out there, the young private said. I know. That's the only thing that lets me sleep at night, Croft answered. In the jungle, a final patrol moved through the undergrowth. Croft and Davis were with them. But the jungle was quiet. No shots. No Japanese. The sector was clear. An American sergeant said, Looks like they're retreating, Croft. You did it. Croft looked at the abandoned position, studying the ground, the angles, the sight lines. No. They're regrouping. There's one more. A commander. The one giving the orders, Croft said. Croft had climbed to a high ridge that overlooked the American command positions. He'd been here for 8 hours, barely moving. His eyes never stopped watching. Suddenly, a shot rang out. Not near Croft or Davis, but from the opposite direction, near the command tent. A junior officer fell. Did you see where? Davis began. Yes. He revealed himself. Just for a moment, but that was all I needed, Croft answered. Croft turned his rifle toward the distant jungle. He calculated wind, distance, bullet trajectory. His breathing became shallow. His focus absolute. He fired. Then immediately reloaded and fired again. A third shot, leading the target slightly. In the distant jungle, a figure staggered from behind a tree, clearly wounded. The man attempted to flee but collapsed after a few steps. Is that? Davis asked. The commander. The one organizing the others. I can tell by how all the other positions went silent. He was the link. Now the network is broken, Croft answered. Colonel Walker shook Croft's hand firmly. Davis stood nearby. Around them, soldiers looked at Croft with respect and gratitude. 11 confirmed kills in 4 days. The Japanese body count matches the sniper incidents. You've cleared this entire sector, Private. The Japanese sent us their best marksmen, and you eliminated them, Walker said. Just did what I was trained to do, sir. Hunt, Croft answered. The training started with a catalog and a rifle and a boy in the wilderness. I think we've learned something important about personnel selection and assessment, Cole added. We've learned that sometimes the best soldier is the one who was never meant to be a soldier. Croft, you're being commended for exceptional valor. The men are calling you the catalog sniper. You're famous, Walker said. I'm just glad no more of our men are dying, Croft said, feeling uncomfortable. In the barracks, soldiers gathered around Croft. There was a different energy. He was no longer mocked. He was revered. 11 of them. 11, repeated Rivera. And that catalog rifle did it. We laughed at that rifle, Henderson said. The rifle is just metal and wood. It's the eye behind it that matters, Croft answered. Corporal Miller said. They're saying they want to make you an instructor. Teach other men how to be snipers. I don't know how to teach this. It's not something you learn from a manual. It's something you are, Croft answered. Murphy entered and agreed. He's right. You can't teach what Croft does, but you can test for it. Find men with that instinct and put them in the field. That night, Croft sat alone, watching the jungle. His rifle lay beside him. In the distance, American soldiers talked, laughed, lived. The snipers were gone. He thought about the men he had killed. Not with satisfaction, but with understanding. They were soldiers. He was a soldier. They tried to kill Americans. He stopped them. Davis approached and sat beside him. You don't look happy, Davis said. I'm relieved. That's different, Croft answered. You saved lives today. I ended lives. Those two things aren't opposites, but they're not the same thing either, Croft answered. Davis asked what he would do after the war. Go home. Hunt deer again. Try to remember what it felt like when this rifle meant something simple, Croft said. Do you think you can go back to that? Croft thought for a long time. I don't know. I hope so. I have to. A final patrol moved through the jungle. Croft was with them, his rifle ready. But the jungle was quiet. No shots. No Japanese. The sector was clear. An American sergeant said, We're done here, Croft. You cleared the zone. Then we move out, Croft answered. As the patrol walked back toward camp, Croft stopped and turned back to look at the jungle one last time. He raised his rifle to his eye, looking through the scope at the landscape he had cleared. For a moment he wasn't a soldier. He was a hunter. And the jungle was simply the wilderness. In the command tent, Walker presented Croft with a medal. Officers stood at attention. Soldiers lined the space outside the tent, watching. Walker read, For exceptional bravery in combat and extraordinary marksmanship in the elimination of enemy sniper positions, Private Jack Croft is awarded the Silver Star. This enlisted man, using civilian hunting experience and unconventional tactics, eliminated 11 enemy sharpshooters in 4 days, breaking the back of Japanese psychological warfare efforts. Croft stepped forward and accepted the medal. His face showed no emotion. The soldiers applauded, but it sounded distant to him. Walker shook his hand. You've made your mark, Private. The Army is proud of you. Just did my job, sir, Croft answered quietly. The transport ship pulled away from the island. Croft stood on deck with his rifle. American soldiers crowded the rails, watching the island recede into the distance. The story of Private Jack Croft spread throughout the Pacific. Men began to look at catalog rifles differently. They began to look at hunters differently. The army realized that sometimes the best soldiers aren't the ones trained by the military from birth, but the ones who came to war already knowing how to hunt. Croft would go on to participate in 3 other major operations in the Pacific Theater, taking down 37 confirmed enemy targets. His medal count would grow. His reputation would precede him. Croft watched the island until it disappeared beyond the horizon. He ran his hand along his catalog rifle. 11 days. 11 snipers. $45 and a lot of patience, he said to himself. A young soldier approached. Sir? Can I ask you something? Sure, Croft answered. Were you scared? When you were out there hunting them? Croft answered honestly. Every second. Fear keeps you sharp. You lose fear, you lose focus. And when you lose focus, the other man wins. How did you handle it? You breathe. You remember why you're there. And you trust in your training. I trained my whole life for something I never thought I'd do. But the training was real. The discipline was real. So I just applied what I knew to what I didn't. The ship cut through the water, heading toward the next island, the next battle. American soldiers lined the deck, many of them alive because of one man with a catalog rifle. After the war ended, Croft returned to his hometown in the Midwest. He married a girl he had known before the war. They bought a small piece of land and lived a quiet life. Every autumn, he hunted deer as he once dreamed. His catalog rifle hung above the fireplace, a monument to the past, a witness to the incredible. When journalists found him in the 1950s and wanted to tell his story, Croft was reluctant. He didn't see himself as a hero. He saw himself as a man who did what was necessary in extraordinary circumstances. But after persistent persuasion, he agreed to help document sniper training methods for the new Cold War Army. His legacy influenced how the American Army recruited and trained special operations units for decades to come. Instead of relying exclusively on military training, the Army began looking for people with a certain type of mind: hunters, fishermen, people with experience in the wilderness. People who understood patience, distance calculation, and the behavior of living creatures. In 1965, Croft was invited to the Pentagon to give a series of lectures on sniper training. Young officers listened as he explained the philosophy of hunting applied to modern warfare. He talked about how a sniper isn't just a good shot, but a man who thinks like a hunter, breathes like a predator, and sees the world as few people do. You cannot teach a man to be a sniper if he is not a hunter inside, Croft told the officers. You can teach technique. You can teach ballistics. You can teach tactics. But the hunting instinct? Either you have it or you don't. It's something a person brings with them. His words changed military doctrine. Over the next decade, the American Army created one of the best sniper training programs in the world, based on Croft's philosophy: seek out hunters, give them the tools, trust their instinct. In his later years, in the 1980s, Croft became a consultant to various special operations units. He was an old man now, with gray hair and a calm gaze that reminded his younger colleagues of what he had seen. His experience in the jungles of Guadalcanal never completely left him. It remained with him like a fingerprint on his soul. When people asked him how he felt about killing 11 men in 4 days, Croft always gave the same answer. I felt like a hunter. Saving my own. Doing my job. After that? Those are things you keep deep and don't touch. His life was a testament to the fact that sometimes ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances can accomplish the extraordinary. Not because they were specially trained, but because they brought with them what they already knew, and applied it in new ways. Jack Croft died in 1998 at the age of 83. His funeral was attended by people from across the country, veterans, officers, people he had trained. His catalog rifle was displayed in the National Military Museum as a symbol of one man who changed history with patience, skill, and faith in himself. His story lives on, in the training of snipers, in the philosophy of special operations, in the hearts of those who understand that sometimes the best tool is a man who knows how to hunt. A $45 catalog rifle became a legend. But the true legend was the man who held it. In the end, the story of Private Jack Croft is not a story about war. It's a story about patience, about craftsmanship, about how an ordinary man with an extraordinary skill can face the impossible and emerge victorious. It's a story that reminds us that sometimes the most powerful people are those who came prepared to be what was required of them, rather than waiting for the system to make them so. The war ended. But Croft's legacy remains. In every young sniper who learns to hunt. In every hunter who becomes a soldier. In everyone who looks at the world with patience, and sees what others cannot.